In this video, we're going to talk about how to edit eduongo. So if I click on a session, you guys will be pretty familiar with this, but what you haven't done probably much in the past is edited what's in here. So as you saw up the top of the page, when you're in the teacher's view, now just a reminder, there's the teacher's view and the student's view, but when you're in the teacher's view, you can see an edit button up here. So if I click that, it opens it up for me to be able to edit. So up the top of the page, with a lot of courses you'll have the units written, with some courses you don't have the units written. If you feel you're going to deliver new units, that's where Emily and I can help, and we can get in and assist you to add the units that you're going to be delivering. That's if we're starting a new cluster out of line with what we're normally going to be doing. But either way, as you go down the page, you are able to add information by clicking here and then typing in. So I get to here, type in some information. Now what we do is we set it at Arial 16 to align with the other font, and that's what makes it easiest to read, as you can see there. So you can type whatever in there. If you want to add a new text box to add some new information, you can either add it here, or to add more text you need to use this information down the side. This one says add text, and you're able to type in some new information, and you'll see a new textbook has come in here with new information that you're going to type out with the students. So if you want to write something to them, that will go in there. It will tend to go at the bottom of the page. What you need to do next is you need to try and reorder your page if you want it to go higher. So see, I don't want it down there, I want it up here under footy is cancelled. I'm going to try and click a couple of buttons, and as you can see, that text box will now follow on here. As you can see, that's what it looks like if you don't put it in Arial 16. So that should be pretty straightforward. You can add text underneath the text that's already in there, which I'm going to continue to do here. But if you do really want to add another text box, that's how you do it. You go down here and say add text. Now if you have a look at the side of the page here, I've got a number of different things I can do. Sometimes you might only have 3 or 4, because on some computers it will default to just listing under more. So if it's not appearing here, the B, which is add text, it'll be under more here. If you've got any issues, just let us know in regards to that. Now if you want to add a picture to your page, again, you go to edit here. Now if these boxes aren't appearing above where you want the text to be, it's because you might have to press edit up here. So that's just a little tip if you're getting stuck. But I go edit. I want to add an image, so I'm going to press on this one, image. Just before I do it, I'll make that line be there. Browse server. Now you might have a number of pictures saved in your library on eduongo. Lots of you won't, so you'll need to upload it from your computer. Now when I open the upload, it takes me straight to pictures, but on the side here, if it comes up in documents, you might have to go to your pictures folder. So I find a picture, I'll press open. Now it'll take a bit, but once it does come through, it will both save to your library here, but also into this page. Once it's there, I'll go OK, and it will download here. Now you'll notice that it's very big. In some cases when it comes through, it won't be this big and it'll be fine. But if it is really big, so I can go center as well if I want, but if it's really big, right mouse click, go on image properties, and just reduce the size of it. Normally, just as a shortcut, it mightn't be perfect, but if you go 600 to and 400, so 600 wide and 400 high, that should be pretty good when it comes through. But if you're not happy with those numbers, you can have a bit of a play around. As you see, your picture comes through like this. So now if I look at this page, I've added a picture to the student's content. So try not to put pictures on the system that are too big. So if I have a look at that picture I just put on, so if I hover over it, you can see that it's 10 meg, so that's really big. So if I open the picture, what you need to do is when the picture comes up, you right mouse click on it and go to resize. And it will give you some options. I'm going to click on best for viewing. I'll put in rower 2. Save. So now it'll resave a copy. So when I come back in here, so I'm going to go back in, look at rower 2. As you can see, I hover over it now, it's 267 kilobytes, so it's a lot smaller, and the picture will still come up fine. Now the next important thing you might want to add to your session is video. So again, I'll go to edit, and I'll go down here, edit again, and under this picture, now you might see it takes a bit for that picture to load. That again is because I put a too big a picture on there before. But I go beneath the picture. Now instead of clicking on image, I'm going to click on YouTube. And this page will come up. So what you're going to need to do is grab a video embed code. So we work on embed codes as opposed to URLs. So we grab an embed code. The way you do that is I'm going to go into YouTube and I'm going to find a video. Now to get the videos,
we started using Google Ads to get
embed code. What you need to do is you need to go to share and press on embed code and copy. So now I've copied it. I'm going to go out of YouTube, so I'll get rid of that, and I'm going to paste the embed code there. Now it's not the end of the world if you don't, but you're best to unclick this. This is the one that means you get ads at the end of the video. So I'm going to unclick that, and now I've got my video, YouTube video, that follows on from the picture, so the student can basically just watch their video. So in a lot of cases, you might grab YouTube videos straight from YouTube, and that's how you're going to add them. In regards to making your own videos, which is something we're going to be looking at you doing, that will be covered in a separate video where we're talking about webinars and uploading things to YouTube. But to grab a video, remember there's a lot of great stuff on YouTube. That's how you add it. So if you want to add a file, such as a PowerPoint presentation or just a document, what I'm going to do is I go to here, add file. Again, you need to upload the file like the photos before. So here I've got a PDF I want to upload. I'm going to click on that and go open. Again, it takes a few seconds. Now, it's important that you click this allow downloads. If you don't, they'll be able to view it on the page but not download it. So click on the download, then go save. If I go to the bottom of the page now, you can see that I've got this attached. And this is what I'm talking about. If you don't tick the download, you can't download it here. You'd still be able to view it, but you wouldn't be able to download it. Sometimes if it's a really big file, it allows you to download it, but you can't view it on the page because it's too big. So that's important. Again, when you put the file here, if it's in the wrong position, go here, go to the bottom of the page because it's the bottom one. Sometimes it's good to name these. Click on it, up arrow, save, and can you see how it swapped positions? So you can use that, as I said before, for PowerPoints or different files to upload them onto the system. So I've spoken about how to add text, how to add pictures, how to add videos, and upload files. So the last one I want to talk about is how to add a quiz to your session. Now to add a quiz, you need to go over here to assessments, and you need to create a new quiz. So call it a name, maybe call it the session it's related to, and say create. Once you say done, it'll then bring you into this section here. And you need to press on manage questions. And this is where you choose what questions you want. Now, I'm recommending that you add true, false, and multiple choice questions. So make it clear what we're trying to do here. One is to make sure the kids are understanding what's being covered, but also to get evidence of participation. And that's why this one's really important. So I'd like to think you stick to multiple choice or true and false or matching questions, because these are the ones that are self-correct. Okay, obviously with multiple choice, it's pretty straightforward. You add your question here. It's probably worthwhile always giving it 1 mark, making it worth 1 mark. Add your question here. And then down here you put your answer in. So if this is multiple choice, I'm going to go deltoid. Now if you want to add more, you just add response. Once you've done that, you've got to actually mark the right answer, which is deltoid. Then when I go save, that question's now in there. So then when I go and add the next one, true and false, pretty straightforward. You put the question in, again make it worth 1 mark, and then whether it's true or false, so you make sure your answer's right. Matching questions, again, put 1 mark in for it. Match, so here's what the question's going to be about. Match the sportsman with their sport. So you put the correct answers in here because it'll shuffle it for you. It says distractors, get rid of them. And then if I go save, done, match the sportsman with their sport. When the students look at it, so if you look at edit, it'll still have them aligned. When the students look at it, it'll shuffle them up. But again, you can add other answers. So on there I might have a cricket player and so on. So they're the 3 major question types I want. As I said, let's stick to 3 questions per quiz. Now each session you run online, I need there to be a quiz. Now if you don't think questions are relevant because you've already gone working on an assessment task, what I want you to do is this. Pretend these questions aren't there. Actually, I'll get rid of them. I want you to add a true and false question. And in the true and false question, now make sure you click 1 to make it worth 1 mark, and I'll explain why that's important. By clicking true, I acknowledge that. So again, by clicking true, I acknowledge that I participated in the webinar today, and you need to make sure the answer is true. I press save. When the student does this question, so if I go to preview quiz, by clicking true, I acknowledge that I participated in the webinar today. They click true, that will self-correct, and they will pass that quiz. Now, as I spoke about before, that's why it's really important for this question, but for all the other questions as well that you put into the quizzes, you always make them, so I'll show you an example. You always add this, so you make every question worth 1, because that's the way that you get the score. So when it self-corrects, it makes sure you pass. So when you pass, it self-corrects as going green. Now if you don't have them marked off up the top there, all it'll mean is that you'll have to go into the task and make them competent if you think they're competent. Otherwise it should self-correct and make it go green by itself. So to save yourself work, make sure you add for every question 1 mark up here. If you forget to do it, you can always go in later and add it and make it worth 1 mark. But before you release it, it's best to make sure you do that. Now if I go back to sessions, again it's got this number 1 session that I've been working on before. So now I've added a assessment over here, which is a quiz. What you need to do next is learn how to add it to your session, so that you, rather than the student having to bum around finding it, they can see it at the bottom of their session. So we go edit again. This time we're going to add an activity. I go add activity, and I'm going to, from the list, try and find that quiz I just worked on. Now, as a rule, it should be down the bottom. See how I go there? Session 1, and it brings it up. Now, this is what the picture is going to look like for the quiz. So, see, you've got a quiz at the bottom of the page here. So, now to make this quiz stand out a bit more, what I've done is added a picture. So that I've done that here. So you can just press on thumb. If you want to change the picture, you just press on a picture like this. And I've changed the picture that is appearing with the quiz. Now ideally I shouldn't be just calling this session 1 to make it stand out. If I go back into assessments and find that quiz, I'm going to change it to session 1 quiz. That should make it be a bit clearer for the student. So now when I go back into sessions, session 1, it's now session 1 quiz. The other thing is I could do through edit is to add text. So please complete the quiz below. Again, as a reminder, we're going to go font Arial size 16. And you can put a heading in. For the heading, make it bigger. So we might go Arial 24. And if you want to change the colors or underline it, you can do that as well. So have a bit of a play with that. Obviously at VFA we have a style guide, and for these things in regards to what the font sizes should be, what colors you should be using, but that's the least of our worries for now. Just get in and try and make it as clear as possible. So again, now I've got quiz. Please complete the quiz below so it stands out more. I'm going to shift that up. So click on that. So now it should be a lot clearer. Quiz, please complete the quiz below. So now you've added information to your session. So you've added photos, some more text, you've added a video from YouTube, and you've added some uploads, some files, and a quiz. Now when the student completes this quiz, it will appear in their grades page, and that's evidence of participation. So obviously take a bit of pride in it. I mean, I would fix this text to make it the right size. I might put a heading above it. You'd probably make sure these are all both to the left or both centered. This could be probably spread out a bit more with quiz further down. What I'm saying is that make it easy to follow, but don't be too caught up in trying to make it perfect or apply any form of VFA style guide, because it's probably going to be too complex to teach you guys all those skills. So obviously in the past there's been very few people that have worked on this. As you can see, it's fairly straightforward. Emily, myself, Amanda, Nicola Weber, I think Alana's got some skills with this as well. So there's a number of people that are going to be there to help you, but by giving you guys some control over what's going to be covered in your lesson / webinar. But just be aware that we're going to be here to fix things. If you're stuck, we'll run you through it. Really important that we give you guys some control over getting these ready. Just take the workload off us.